Hey, Billy, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Andre might have had one of his best defensive games on James, but obviously the intentional fouling. How much of a chess game were you in your own head to figure out, should I leave him in, should I take him out?
Well, I mean, I don't want to speak for Mike on it or what his intentions were. It may have been, just because of Andre's free throw shooting percentage, but to me, I thought it was a great sign of respect to get Andre off of Harden, to be honest with you. And Mike may not feel that way, so I don't want to speak for them. But, I think in them doing that, Andre's done a great job all series long. I thought it was important as a coach as I show confidence in him. He did make a couple of them. There wasn't a huge disparity, I don't think, in when they did that. Probably broke the momentum of the game a little bit with what was going on. But, Andre's obviously, the job that he's done has been remarkable the whole entire series. And this is a great opportunity for him, I think, to learn and grow through some of that.
Eric Horney, Oklahoma. Billy, you've talked at times this year about putting the ball in Victor's hands in the second unit. Wanted to know what was the reason for not using him more as the second unit point guard throughout this series, and particularly tonight?
The second unit point guard?
Yeah, Victor
just
Oladipo.
because we've used Samaj and Norris, really. Those guys have been our backup point guard. It's kind of what we've done most of the year. So just kind of went with that.
I asked that question because of the fall off when Russell comes off the floor and the ball's not in Russell's hands. I mean, do you think you could get more out of that second unit when Russell's not out there if you have Victor handling the ball more?
I mean, you may, but you also may get into a situation with Victor with the ball where we're getting the ball to him a little bit later and trying to get him to create, where he's off the ball a little bit. I thought Victor played, two very, very good games here, back to back. No question, I thought our second unit played extremely well in Game 3, and we probably didn't play particularly well tonight as a group.
Yeah, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Billy, similar to that question, Westbrook goes out for the second time in 3 games, and things just fall apart twice. Your first team outplaying Houston, but then they're giving away leads when Russell goes out. Is that a sign just they've got more quality depth than you? What can you do to overcome what's obviously becoming a trend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really quite sure how to answer that. I think there's been some moments our second unit's done a really, really good job. I thought our second unit played really, really well in Game 3. This was a game where, to your point, listen, I don't think that maybe that there's any difference. The whole year when Russell Westbrook's off the floor is a differential on our team. And for most teams, when you take a player of his caliber off the floor, there's going to be a differential. So there's no question that when Russell's out there, we're going to end up being a lot better. But, to say that there's not going to be a differential, I don't know. I thought, to your point, though, the second unit could have played better. They played much better, last game. I thought we had some opportunities for that second unit to kind of step up and make some plays. The ball didn't go in the basket. The one thing about Houston is that they've got obviously a very, very explosive offensive scoring team. Whether it be their first or second unit doesn't make a difference. And sometimes for us, that group I thought played well, but I didn't think we made necessarily particularly shots in that situation.
Billy, Brett Dawson with Oklahoma. Just in the last minute and a half or so from some of the shots you guys got, the foul on Nene, would you rather have done one thing or the other there in terms of letting him score or fouling him harder? What did you think about your decision-making down the stretch?
I thought a couple times, Russell, we needed to help him in terms of like the way the floor was spaced. We needed someone dive into the basket hard, the floor to be open. They were sending 2 players to him. I thought Andre made a really, really good play when Russell threw it back to him and he drove it and he kind of got it to Steven. I couldn't tell exactly where Steven was at. I know the ball kind of came back out to Russell, but we needed to have some presence at the basket, especially with them sending 2 to Russell, towards the end of the game. I think the other part of that was I thought we made some good decisions in terms of when we made the 3 and cut it to 1, we had an opportunity or gave ourselves an opportunity to get maybe a quick trap or a steal. But once the ball crossed half court, we needed to foul. And I think probably at that last play, Jeremy should have, and I want to go back and look at the tape, so I don't want to pass judgment on this, but if he could have maybe wrapped him up and prevented him from even getting the shot up, that would have certainly been helpful, would have forced him to make 2 free throws. I don't think what you want to do in that situation is give give an N1, you're better off just even letting them go in if you don't feel like you can wrap them up, and it's still a 3-point game and we can call timeout. So once they got it to 4, it kind of made it a 2-possession game.
Fred Gatz, Norman transcript. Billy, with about a half a minute left, Russell put up those back-to-back threes, looking like he was trying to draw a foul there. What was your guys' objective on those possessions, and were you okay with those shots?
Well, I mean, I think in both of those situations, somebody diving to the basket or creating a post presence at the basket, because I think anytime, when there's 2 sent to him, generally when the floor is open, the lane's open to dive. So diving to the basket and creating a presence at the rim is important. I think the other part of it is, like, listen, this has been a huge part of the series, and I'm not taking anything away because I think the officials are in a very, very difficult spot. But when you're getting 12 free throws per game on being fouled at the 3-point line, I have no problem with Russell trying the same thing, because Lou Williams gets it and Harden gets it all the time. And I'm not saying that's why, but if you go back to game 1 to game 2 to 3 to 4, and you look at the amount of free throws they're taking on fouled 3-point shots in relationship to when we've done it, I have no problem with Russell doing that. And there may have listen, I'll go back and watch the film to determine whether or not I feel like he was fouled or not. When it's at the other end of the floor in the second half, it's very, very difficult. But Lou Williams' foul 3 and Harden's foul 3 late in the game, I mean, those are huge free throws. Those are huge free throws. And I think I'm not like being critical of the officials here at all, because I think they're put into a difficult situation. All I'm saying is I don't blame Russell when he feels a hand in on him to try to do the same thing.